Okay, now I usually don't do this. People's opinions are, uh, especially when they don't fit in with my opinions, I kind of look over them and move on. Uh, Peggy Hubbard. Um, Somebody sent me a video of her, and she was giving her, I guess, a synopsis on the whole Black Lives Matter situation, despite a little girl being shot in her own home. And first take is that's commendable. It's commendable that a black person will step up and actually speak for a dead little girl. That's commendable. But then as I continue to hear her talk, my second take was, okay, this lady is a clown. And I think a lot of young folks say coonery or ignorant or just flat out dumb, and I agree. First of all, she goes on to talk about a case to where a black guy got shot and killed. He had pulled a stolen weapon and fired at the police, and police returned fire. And black people were protesting. And, first off, I don't think just black folks protest. I think it might be majority black people, but I think some other races come in also and protest. But going on to say, she felt like that there's nobody over there protesting for the black on black crime, so to speak. Now, again, at first, and I try to see things on both sides. Now, I understand that there is black on black crime, but she made a comment that put her even more in the stupid category to me. She said the media reports every night black murder, black murder, black murder, black murder. And I want people to understand that the media is part of a system that generates biasness and racism and things of that nature, because there's a factual truth that there's more white on white crime than any other race. But yet and still, the media is reporting on the more black on black on black on black crimes. Come on now. And so, that brought her into that stupid category in that part. Now, let me say this. Again, I say that her indentation on the little girl being murdered, that's commendable. Somebody need to step up for the black girl that's being murdered, for us, because nobody will. But at the same time, it has it that someone did go and protest and had a little something that was actually asking for the perpetrators who were guilty of shooting this little girl. They were asking for them to come forward. Now, and so a lot of her stuff she's saying is out her behind. She goes on to say something about far as how her son is in jail, and I told him out of all of his father and mother has done for them, and he gonna still get locked up, blah 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 blah. That he can go to hell and don't drop the soap. Now, for a mother to say some stuff like that is just downright ignorant. My question come to mind that why did you even have the child? And so and I go on to say this in detail, that in this United States of America, it is evident that you can raise your child the right way. You can raise your child the white way, because just being honest. There's some black folk out there that think that if you raise it by white standards, that you're raising your child's right. You know, that sounds ignorant, and I agree. But you got some people out there like that. And then you have, you can raise your child by Christian standards. You can raise your child by one of which or all three of these standards. And in America, that child could still be incarcerated. That child could still be locked up. And this right here is what Black Lives Matter is fighting for. This is what Black Lives Matter is fighting for. And so, you know, and don't get me wrong, I don't know nothing about no Black Lives Matter. I don't go to no rallies. I don't do none of that stuff or whatever the case may be, but I respect Black Lives Matter. They might not do things like I want it done. They might not do things like any political activist wants it done, but they are out there on the front lines fighting for my black tail. And I get what they're trying to do. And so also I gravitate the concept, ain't nobody ignorant self gonna go out there and fight. Ain't nobody else going out there and bringing up these things that need to be brought up. We're living in a justice system to where not just the police officers, this is not just what black folks, Black Lives Matter is fighting for. They ain't fighting for just, police killing unarmed black people. But they fighting for the courts that's put more time on black people than white people. They fighting for the situation of prisons are more packed with black people than it is white people or any other race. Because evidently somebody done swallowed the notion that black people are more crime prone. That sounds stupid. And that's untrue and that's false. That's dumb. But yet we all taking the majority, all black people are taking the majority in such heinous situations. But yet and still America want to fix their funky lips to say, oh, the black person is the minority. But yet and still we the majority in poverty. We're the majority in the prisons. We're the majority in unarmed deaths. That's stupid. And that's the concept that put me at a point to saying, yes, this Peggy Hubbard is dumb, stupid, because you don't grasp the notion. You don't grasp the understanding. Your brain cannot comprehend that, far as you can live in a world and a system can put you in a certain place that you would never think of. And for the black people that can get through this system and never be at a point of fitting the profile of the monster that the system paints you as, if they can do that, then you got to fight through the stereotypes, the biasness. Such biases like a black person with dreadlocks or whatnot. They very mean. They're more apt to jump off at the mouth and beat you to death or something like that. A whole lot of ignorant, stupid stereotypes. There was a case to where a woman had got pulled over and roughed up or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And she asked the police, why, would you do that? I wasn't resisting or anything like that. He told her, well, black people have a thing sometimes, most of them resist and all this other stuff. That's all stereotypes. That's mess. And so, that's what brings me to the conclusion that this Peggy Hubbard is stupid. She goes on to say, oh, I grew up in St. Louis. I grew up right down the blah, 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 blah. And baby, don't everybody know that times change. They get worse and worse, or they get better and better. But in this situation, it's getting worse. It has gotten worse and worse. So what you want us to do, Peggy Hubbard? Do you want us to sit back and go out and every time a gang shoots one another. You want us to go up there and protest and knock down doors or whatever the case may be, or go talk to the police like you so love them. Go talk to the police and tell them, the police, hey, we need this to stop in our community. Put more patrols in communities. And then when the fact, when the problem arises, that police, he thought a little young kid with a hoodie on to be a suspect or just look mean or whatever the case may be. He scared me, as they've been commonly saying, and he shoots him 13, 16 times and things of that nature. Then what we do, Peggy Hubbard? I guess my question, not what we do, what you do. What you gonna do? You know, and I'm so elated that you are just such a professionalist when it comes down to Black lives, Black Lives Matters or whatnot. But yet and still, you go out there and you get you somebody that ain't black. You got your let me move on, because I don't know nothing about that or whatever. But I'm not going to speak on that. I'm not. Because it'll put me in a predicament to where it looks like I'm not for interracial, I'm racist or whatever case, I'm biased or whatever case may be. But what I'm trying to say is that you have a whole lot of people speaking from somewhere other than their mind and their heart, you know, and they don't rate it. And you got a whole lot of people listening to this foolishness or whatever the case may be. And then I goes to look at a page now. I look at a page that she has on social media, and I just look at all the comments, and you know, I'm not racist, but I notice race issues. When you black, you can spot out something that's racist. You can spot out some biasness. You can spot out race interpretations, so to speak. You can spot out these things when you're black, you know, and that's one of the main reasons why black people get so unnerved when you have Mr. John, little white political man, come up and try to tell us what we seen, what it's interpreted as when a black unarmed man get pulled over, and we don't know, we don't have sense enough to know that it's you know, excessive force. We don't have sense enough to know that it was about race. Yet and still we go through race issues every day. Every day. But as I go on to say, I looks at a page and all these comments of good job and I feel the same way. All these comments is from white people. It's from white people. I don't get it. And that ought to be an indicator. Baby, if your own people ain't supporting that foolishness is coming out your mouth, then why hadn't you stopped and realized this ain't the way, fool? This is not the way. You have a good point that says that you want to help your black community by telling the black community, hey, put more emphasis on the fact that it's black on black crime. Even though there's more white on white crime than anything, that don't justify black on black crime. Understand? And vice versa. But at the same time, you don't do that. You go and attack your own people. You're foolish. Knowing that we're living in a system that's not for us. We're living in a system that's messed up for us. If we get something from the system, it's just by chance. It's just by chance. If it's good. Because a lot of people say, oh, they're on welfare. Welfare ain't good. Y'all, Lord have me. Do your research. Welfare ain't good. Everything that the government gives to you is not good for you. Yes, you need it. Take it. But you ought to be trying to get off of it and do something else. Blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, you know, Everything that the government gives to you is not good for you. And I want you to understand this now. So, it's foolish to me how one woman, black woman, to get her tail up and say that I told my son that if he get in trouble with the law, I'm from the Medea school. Medea, no, don't put that on Medea, baby. Don't put no. My big mama was more so Medea. But at the same time, she don't start off what you said about your child. She didn't start off like that. My big mama would say, well, child, you know how this system is. You know how these white folks is. They don't want you to have nothing anyway. So if you sitting up in this world and you falling for these tricks that these white folks done set up for your ignorant tail to go get locked up or get shot and killed, then I don't know what to do for you. I love you, but I can't help you. I done taught you how to maneuver through this system and do good and be successful. This what Big Mama, this what Medea population does. That's the conversation that they have. And I also commented to your little Facebook, I hope your child and your children find somebody that can not just teach them how to do right, but also how to be right in a world that see them as wrong, that tolerates them as wrong, has set up a system for them as if they are wrong. That's what I said. So I put out this thing because, one, I'm agitated, and I usually try to calm down before I get agitated, y'all. My eyes get red. People think I'm drinking or whatever. Okay, I ain't drunk no alcohol and since I was born. But anyway, it's a shame how and I blame this. I read a book called Post-Traumatic Slave Disorder. Now, that's a great book. I want y'all to go out there and get that book, read that book, whatever case may be. And it's not like other books that tell you stuff that, far as you already know about black people. It don't tell you that. It goes deep in the conscience of a black person, from Africa all the way over here. It's pretty much telling you that, even though you walk around here and you have your way, and because, black people got this thing, oh, this is my way, this how I do things, blah, blah, blah. No, that come from somewhere. If you can't find where it come from, get yourself a book. Read up about it. It's good to know about yourself, because I'm the firm believer. I'm one of the few black people that feel like black people all have that king gene inside them, that queen gene inside them. And you might not be able to trace it back through your DNA, but you feel it. And certain things have hints that you are better than what you are. And I say reason people say, well, I don't know why it's all black and black. It's all black and black crime because many of the black people have fallen prey to some of these tricks that the system has set up for them, which does nothing but depress the average black man enough to kill somebody's life or take his own, or live a life that's not pleasing to anything and not pleasing to everything. And so once you grasp on that knowledge, I'm not a Muslim or whatever the case may be, but I hint some of the speeches that I think and I say Muslims been saying for years. I'm not a Muslim. I love Jesus Christ. I love God, and I argue down to the day I die on biblical principle. But for the most part, I agree with what some Muslims are saying. There's some trickery out here for black people. All right. And a lot of people have learned to look away from that and feel like that if they live the white way, the right way, or the Christian way, that all of this will not affect them. But if you're like me, if you affect the black person that look like me, smell like me, talk like me, whatever the case may be, then you might well mess with me too. And so That's why I say, people, we have to pick up a book. We have to learn certain mental aspects, how slavery has manifested itself and evolved all the way to here, that has us thinking that certain stupid stuff like, well, if a black person gets shot and killed for jaywalking or trying to run or whatever, then it was justified because he broke the law. But yet and still, a white person can do much more than that. And they will fight like mad to not use lethal force. Now, there's a biasness in that. There's undertone racism in that. But yet and still, you got black people with that slave mentality. Well, what did they do? Well, you know, so-and-so, Michael Brown had a record. So does that justify him being shot like a dog? Is you stupid? And that's why I say, people, you have to get your mind back right. Black people, get your mind right. Get your mind right. I ain't looking for no white person to go up there and fight my battle. I'm a king. So therefore, I feel like that it's in us to dictate every aspect of our lives. Yeah, fight on, Black Lives Matter. Fight on. Bye, y'all.